Okay, so this is our new basically daily slash drift car slash practice car. So you guys have seen it in other videos. This is like video number 2 on this thing. Video number 1, I basically just painted the front overs, made sure it ran good, and everything was okay. However, we had our buddy Ian came down to drive and ended up crashing it basically right away. And now look at it down here. Oh, whoops, hold on, let me turn this guy around. And so the radiator is smashed and everything is no good. It's got a lot of damage. Oh, hold on. So it ended up, he ended up hitting the bottom of the radiator. The radiator ended up hitting this and smashing everything. So if you look, there's a whole section of fins smashed and missing. So the radiator's done. It's also quite bent. If you look, it's here, and then it goes, bends this way because he caught the bottom on a tire, like on the bottom of a tire wall. So that's going to come out, be replaced. We have a new radiator for that. Also, it's on like just some cut and modded knuckles. Don't even know what kind they are, but they feel a little odd. So let me see if you can see them. So here they are. I don't know how it's set up as far as Ackerman setup, but these are going to need to be changed. It looks like this is probably going to be our first bit of the project. It is leaking somewhere, but I had to pressure wash it all off to figure out where it was leaking because there was just oil on everything. So hopefully we can figure out where the oil leak is, fix the oil leak. I think maybe even a power steering leak, so we'll fix the power steering leak. And yeah, put some Wisefab on it. So right now it's on BC and the other guys, and some just cut and modded knuckles. The other problem too is that the arms weren't extended long enough so that when you have the tie rod's maxed out and you're still like massively toe out. Like, I mean, you're toe out quite a bit. So camber's good, but your toe, I mean, we're toe out over an inch. So it makes the car very, very hard to drive. Also, I ran out of paint last time, but I'm not a big fan of these guys. So we're going to take this off, swap it. Also, it has a 315 diff in it, which just flat out isn't enough to shift. Basically, when you're driving, it just won't spin the tires. The seat is a little rough. I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to get to all this stuff. Also, the sunroof, as we were driving last time, collapsed down. So we took it out, and we're going to put a big duck club, basically just a big duck club vent cover in it. So I'm going to paint that. I have it out back, but it's white, so I need to clean all this up and cut that out and then paint this as well. So there is definitely some steps, some things that need to happen. This is all good. I did get a new ECU though for it, so it should run a lot better. So we're going to put a new ECU in it. I also got some tilt down stuff for it and a ton of garagistic parts. So this shifter actually isn't too bad, except for it's weighted and it's very, very floppy, so it's really hard to find what gear you're going to be in. So just kind of an open guess of any gear, and it hits the dash when you shift forward. So there's some definitely things that need to happen. I think as of right now, we don't have a whole lot of time. I think the best option will be to take the overs off and paint them so that they're black. Paint the roof thing so I can put the lid up just in case it does rain or whatever. We can actually seal the car. Go underneath. I need to change the rear diff so that we can at least go out there and drift and have some fun. If I'm pulling the diff out, I'll probably change the arms as well so that we can run some Wisefab rear arms, and so we can have some kind of adjustment of camber so we can get some better tire life out of them. And then from there, we're going to move forward and probably do the front coilovers, cut the shock towers, so Feal coilovers and Wisefab front end. After that, then on probably the next episode, we're going to get to all the garagistic stuff. So there's a lot of garagistic stuff I want to do on this, all the poly stuff, all the bushings. The pedal, man, I really kind of need to do the pedal and stuff today and the steering column today. We'll see how far I can get. There's a lot to do. I want to change the manifold. I want to change all these things to make it better, but I think it might be too much of a project to get it all done by later tonight. I only have a couple hours. So I think if I have to tackle it, diff, rear end, so at least the car can shift and drive. Paint the overs, I just need to spray them, leave them outside, let them dry. And yeah, the angle kit just wasn't great. Like, it was quite bad. If I'm going to change the angle kit, I might as well change the coilovers with it. So, probably angle kit. Oh, and I need to put the radiator in it. Wow, yeah, I got a lot to do. All right, let me jump on it. I think first part is, let me pull the radiator. It's all wet underneath though. Let me I guess let me do the rear end. So I'm going to jump underneath, pull the rear diff out. I need to weld a 391, get it all set up, and then just going in. So let's do that part first. Okay, so I pulled the over fender off to paint it, and this has been cut, but it's been cut a very unique way. So I don't know what the goal of this was, because this is still the bottom, this is still the same height. So he just kind of cut, he or she, whoever it was who had it before us, cut it just like this and then gave up and then just started bending it back on the back part. So yeah, I don't really know how to clean this. This is a little sharp and a little sketchy, but we'll deal with that later. Tire seems like it has plenty of clearance. It doesn't hit anything, so we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to keep going. So let me go out there, go paint this thing up. Okay, so I got the old radiator out, which is this guy right here, which definitely has some has some issues. So big hole, lots of damage on that one. And so I put in the new radiator, which is just a radiator I had out back. So got this thing all in and bolted in. I even had the like old brackets for it. So they're not right brackets. I don't even think this is the right radiator for the car, but I had one. So it went in. However, these hoses, these are the old hoses, they're kind of not great. And this one, which is the top hose that always bursts, the one that goes up here that eats your fan, is pretty crusty. Like I won't even, like it's I don't know how to describe it. It's like a piece of plastic. So as I was looking for this hose, which is just a simple hose, I found these. So I have some old HPS hoses that look pretty much like I never really used them. I found two of them. I found this guy and I found this guy with HPS clamps. So we're going to upgrade this whole cooling system, at least the front half of the cooling system right now, with this guy here and then this guy down over here. So let me start taking that apart. This is the only thing I don't know how I'm going to mount. This is, there's nowhere to mount this thing anymore, because this fan setup was actually set up for my turbo car before I went rear mount radiator. So yeah, I don't know. I have to figure out how this is going to mount, but I'm going to take this hose off and put the HPS hose in, because also it's smaller diameter. It might give me a little bit more room. Might be able to fit this in there. So give me a second. Let me pull this all apart. Okay, so I have to show you guys something. So this is definitely a problem. I mean, ignore all this because this is also a problem, but this is less of a problem. This is a big problem for drifting. Look at this. When you push this pedal in, first of all, it has this much play back and forth. Second thing is this pedal is hitting this. So I need to change the bushings in that. But the bigger problem is there's no bump stop. So look, watch what happens. So it goes down and then over and gets stuck. So Garagistic has solved it, obviously. So they have the Garagistic bushing. This is the pedal stop, actually. This is the short one. So I like it pretty far down in there, so I actually took the nut off of it as well. And all you do is simply go down here to where the hole is, and you screw it on in. Let's see, I know it's a little dark. There we go. There. Now when you push the pedal down, it goes. And you actually hit something solid. So that's a good way of fixing it. This is something else that I need to address, but yes, the actual clutch part of it now works normal. Not all messed up. Alright, let me jump on to the next part. Okay, so this is basically the setup that he's been running right now. So it's a BC coilover with a stock rotor setup, extended lower control arm, and extended inners to make this all happen. The problem is this knuckle wasn't welded A, very well, but B, was not modded correctly. So this thing has a ton. It's very, very, very twitchy and has a ton of Ackerman. Like it over centers or crosses over itself very quickly. So it makes the car very hard to drive. So I was just going to leave this setup on, but I want to be able to still go out there and jam. So before I attack the rear with brakes and e-brake and all that and hydro, we're going to change this whole setup. So we're just going to take this arm off, that assembly off. The bad part is I have to go find another knuckle because this knuckle is bad. So basically the only thing I can save off of this is the brakes. But this whole front piece is going to come off. So let's let me get to that. I'm going to take all this off. Easiest way is this inner ball joint first. Once that one's popped down, the back is really easy. Everything else should just drop out the bottom. So let me do that, and I'm going to take this off of here. Hopefully I can get it off here, and then drop the tie rod from the inside because I don't need this whole assembly. So, all right, let's get to it. So as I was taking this apart, I realized that I wanted to keep these studs because they're brand new studs. So how I'm going to take them out is with basically just 2 lug nuts, one forward, one backwards, lock them together and spin this one to back them out. But I just noticed that this is quite bad. Look at this brake line. It's kind of hard to see in here. Maybe this way? There we go. That's not good. This car has over 300,000 miles on it, and look at that brake line. It's all chafed all the way through. So definitely gonna need some brake lines before I get going too far, but at least it'll be a start. And this has been a little eaten up, but it's okay. We don't use any of these wires anyway, so basically all this stuff can be cut out. And look, even this one is now behind the over fender, so I don't think that matters either. But anyways, I just want to kind of show you guys what we're doing, where I'm at on this. So let me take all these studs out. I just put a wrench here, spin them out, and yeah, quite simple. Then we'll get onto the rotor and everything else. Okay, so I have everything off. This is the modded arm and the knuckle and the BC coilover, which actually looks brand new, and the Condor little subframe thing, and the front tie rod that goes with it. So this is the full set. Oh, here's a nut. So someone could run this whole setup and have a modded knuckle, you know, decent drift car. So that's this setup. I'll probably just end up selling it. I don't really have a use for it. But now we will be opening and going with all the good stuff. Look at this. Wisefab. Alright, let me move the box. So here's the entire Wisefab kit. So you have a front arm, you have a knuckle adapter, which is has adjustable Ackerman in it with the washers. So really nice. You just go this way or this way. And this will fit M3, E36, or E46. Tie rod, which fits both of them as well. And this is the bolt that goes for there. And this is the inner that goes to there. So very simple. It's all billet aluminum. This is, I believe, stainless, and then this is just some kind of steel. Top hat is a very simple top hat, just like before, just like all the other chassis. So you can adjust caster this way if you don't want to adjust it with the bottom lollipop, and that way you can have the wheel more centered basically in the wheel well and still be able to have the desired caster you want. But anyways, this is how simple it is. So it's literally just reverse engineer from how the other one came back off. But yep, I'm going to put this guy in. I'll show you what it looks like as we go in. Okay, so I was able to get the Wisefab top hat in. That's all nice and good to go. So it's got the Feal suspension, the Wisefab top hat, and I was able to get the shock assembly and everything all together. All the Feal suspension set up down here, and all the Wisefab suspension is on the car ready to go. So with that being said, this is all taken care of. However, I just found out that my rack is leaking. So even though it's a nice looking clean rack, it leaks a lot, and it leaks through the top seal above the O-rings up there. So we're going to have to take the rack off. So I'm going to take those two rack guys, these guys off, these two bolts off, the banjos, let them drain out, and then pull the rack off the front. So at least it's a good time to change the rack. There's no alignment set up yet. I don't have anything messed up. So we're going to do the rack right now before we get into another problem. So the front is now completed. We got the tie rods on. We have the new rack in. It's just not bled yet, so we need to bleed the rack. And I put the wheels on just to see how fitment would be. I think fitment will be okay, actually. It's pretty good. Might poke a little bit. I might have to cut some of this, but we'll have to see once it's on the ground. I might have to cut some of this front stuff too, but we'll check out there. Now I am off to the back. So the back needs a diff put in it. I need to pull the BC coilovers off, put some Feal coilovers on it, and I need to put the Wisefab rear on. So we're not doing the full Wisefab trailer arm and everything. We're just doing the arms. So we're doing lower arm, upper pocket, and upper arm. And it sucks because I think this exhaust is all one piece. So it's gonna be fun to go around the exhaust. It's bolted in there, but it looks like it's welded too. So don't know, we'll have to see. Hopefully I don't have to fight that. It has subframe bushings already, so we're gonna leave that alone. But I think it needs a front bushing in, you know, the diff pocket, the front bushing there, and definitely some Wisefab. Because look, so this one is straight. See how this arm is nice and straight? Look at that arm. That arm is quite bent. I'll show you guys once I take it off. But so the camber's all messed up. There's more toe on one side than the other, and it's starting to eat the top of that axle, which I really don't want it to do. But in order to take these arms off, you have to pull the diff out. So since I have to swap the diff anyways, this is the time we're gonna do all this at one time. So let me set this guy down, and yeah, let me start pulling the diff out first. Then we're gonna be able to get to the arms and see what else I need to get to. So first thing I do on this is I weld the gears to each other. So all the gears are welded to each other so that it can't spin or rotate. And then I'm gonna take a plate and put a plate on there and weld like a W on the plate. The main thing is not getting those little stub shafts with any kind of weld on them. Even though they look like they already have weld on them, I'm gonna try and not get them, because if you do, then you will never getting this stub shaft out, and if you break one, your weekend is over. So, yeah, I'm just gonna put a plate on it and then W weld the plate. So this is the standard setup where it has spring and bucket on top, and then it has this like split lower control arm. However, we're going to replace all of this stuff. So we're going to do Wisefab upper, Wisefab lower, and Feal coilover. So this is a Feal coilover that we have for the car. Let me shut that off. There we go. So fresh Feal coilover, that's going to go on here. On the street car stuff, that's going to be stock horsepower. We run a 12K front and a 6K rear spring, true coilover. This one says, I think it has like a 12K in this, or maybe a 14K, split by 60% of that. So this is a little bit heavy. This would be like an 8K rear. So it'd be quite stiff, but when I was driving it, it was very, very bouncy. Like the back of the car bounced a lot. So hopefully we're gonna fix all that with running some Feal coilovers and get it all dialed in that way. Also too, the reason why we run, instead of this setup, we run an actual Wisefab is because in order to get those off, the only way to get those off is by taking the diff out and going like this. So I have them so you can see them on this side. This is what the Wisefab ones look like. This is what the stock ones look like. That and this guy, and this guy's actually split in the middle. But the problem with this is if you crash or you bend anything out here, you can't get these arms off without replacing without pulling the entire diff and assembly out. So what Wisefab has done is they make a female heim that just spins off. So if you crash, you break the two nuts loose, boop, take the arm, spin the arm out, spin the arm back in, and then just put the bolt on back here. So basically this bolt out, boom, unscrew the arm, screw the arm back in, put the bolt back in. So it really makes the rear of the car very, very modular and very, very easy to work on. Plus it gives you a lot more space, because instead of having this big giant pocket that takes up a ton of space and a ton of room here and gets really close to the axle at times, it gives you a ton of space and a lot of room, and gives you more room to go lower if you want to go really low as well, because there's no way of coil binding, because there's no spring in here anymore. It's just a shock with the spring on the shock. So yep, I'm gonna get doing this side. It's pretty easy now that the diff is out. You just shoot the two bolts out like that, boom, clean it all up, take these guys out, take this guy out, the centric out. This one's gonna be hard because someone put the centric in on the wrong side, so they put the bolt in this way, which is gonna hit the metal, so that's gonna be fun to hammer out. But this one's put in the right way, so it should be easy to do. And like I said, if you crash, then you can just take the bolt out, spin the arm off, spin the new arm on, put the bolt back in, versus this is impossible to get out. So let me get to working on this, and I'll show you what it looks like all installed, ready to go. Alright, so hey everyone, I have a quick Rome's tip of the day. So when you're trying to get the nut on that upper control arm, right, on the back, on this side right back here, you can't really get in there with anything, and I don't have small enough fingers to try and get my hands back in there and then pinch it, and if you just set it on here, it just falls off. So something that I kind of just figured out is that if you take a piece of towel or rag or whatever you have, and you put it in the 18 like this, and then you can wedge that in there, and now it's not going anywhere. It doesn't fall out, doesn't do anything. But once you get it on, so let's say use the lug nut, once you get it on here, you can pull it off, retrieve that, and you're on and you're good to go. So just a quick little tip. Hopefully it helps your day out and allows you to get... Alright, the car is all good to go as far as the rear. Probably don't need the broom anymore. But this is all done. The Wisefab is all in. The diff is back on, and it's all good to go. I might have to go back underneath because it looks like the front of the diff is now leaking, which sucks because I just got it back together. But it's all in, paint marked. The axles are on, everything's torqued. The Wisefab is on, the Feal is on. All of this stuff is on and good to go. So this is pretty much where this video is going to end as far as what we're doing for this one, but I just wanted to get a track ready for the weekend. We're going out and doing the NRG fun, like basically driving lesson drift event. I am going to put the overs back on now that they're painted, maybe put the roof back in, but for right now this is pretty much it. I am going to jump in probably on a different video and do this guy, because this guy's pretty messed up. So I do, after all this is done, I'm gonna have to go down and align the car, because the front is not aligned, the rear is not aligned, but we're gonna align all of it, and I'll show you how I align the car on a different video. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. This was like a short kind of what we're doing for suspension setup and front and rear.